trust me, after attending these mini segments, you'll literally be guaranteed at least 90% in your mathematics final paper. You just have to follow our lead and do what you're saying here. Because we've walked the journey, we've attained those results. Not that we're bragging, but we're trying to show you that it is possible. We've done it before. And these are the skills that you need to master for you to get those marks. Okay, cool. Without wasting any time, we'll just go as follows. We'll start with the first question, give you hints how to tackle typical questions in the first section of your paper, second section, all the way to the final section. So in a way, after finishing these mini segments, you'll be guaranteed 100%. You'll be guaranteed 100%. You can drop to 90% depending on the number of mistakes that you make. But like the knowledge that you'll be having will be literally preparing you. You'll be 100% prepared to get 100%. Okay, cool. Let's just go straight to the gist of the talk. Road to 100% from Destination Varsity, because the destination is varsity. You're all heading to varsity. Okay, cool. Let's tackle the first question. In this instance, the first question says you need to solve for x. So first question is literally all about solving for x. Generally, they just ask you to solve for x. So if you know how to solve for x, you at least have 24 marks. You see in this question, you've won yourself 24 marks. It says x squared plus 9x plus 14 is equivalent to 0. Okay, cool. Let's go back to our notepad. It says you literally have your x squared, ne? They gave you x squared there. So it literally is x squared plus 9x plus 14, and they equated that to what? Let me minimize so that I can be able to write nicely. Okay, cool. They equated that to 0 as far as I know. So it's equivalent to what? To 0. So what are they asking you here? Solve for x. Assuming, let's just, I'm trying to make your mind, conscious of the fact that this was derived from functions. You know, in functions, you literally have f at x equals, let me just minimize again. Okay, cool. If equals a x squared plus bx and then plus a c at the end. It's plus a c, ne? Plus a c at the end. Plus c, ne? So in this instance, they said f at x is equals to 0. What is this? When your f at x is equal to 0, if you've done your functions, you know that when your f at x is equivalent to 0, that's at your x-intercept, where the graph touches the x-axis, because this is a quadratic function equation. But I wouldn't like to dive in deep to that because we're not solving for that now. But when you're solving this problem, you should be aware of such. Be able to correlate this section with that section. Because if you can unpack all that here, when you reach the function section, it will be literally smooth sailing because you'll be more than prepared to tackle it. But let's go back to the equation that we were given, which is this one over here. So they're saying you solve for x in this equation, ne? One thing you need to know, in the equation, they didn't say round off to the nearest decimal points or 2 decimal places. So in a way, they're giving you a hint that you can find factors in this instance. So you literally have to open your 2 brackets here, ne? You open your what? Your 2 brackets, and you equate them to what? You equate them to 0. Equate them to 0, equal to 0. You only open brackets once the right-hand side has a 0. So if there is a number on the right-hand side, you need to move it to the left-hand side and it will change the sign. If it was negative, it will be positive. If it was positive, it will be negative. Make sure that your right-hand side is equivalent to 0 before you can open your brackets. Okay, cool. So we look for factors. If you guys don't know how to look for factors, I'll see it by your comments. But I'm assuming that we mostly know how to look for factors. But if you don't know how to look for factors, I'll see by your comments. Then we'll literally tailor a short video on how to look for comments. But in this, for factors, ne? So in this instance, it will be your x here and your x here, ne? Plus, because your middle term is positive, so the last term is what is positive, so that means the signs are the same. And since your middle term is positive, that means they're both positive. You get what I'm saying? And you look for factors such that when you add them, because they're both positive, they will give you 9. So you're saying 7 times 2 is equal to 14. Those are factors of 14. And when you add 7 and 2, since they're both positive, they will give you 9. So it will be x plus 7 and x plus what? Plus 2. So since you have your brackets here, you can equate the first bracket to 0 and the second bracket to 0. Because if you multiply anything with 0, you'll still get 0. Say this was equivalent to 0. This multiplied by this, if this was 0, the answer you'll get was going to be 0. Even if this was equivalent to 0, this multiplied by 0, you'll still get 0, because anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Hence, we generally say at this point, your first bracket, which is x plus 7, can be equal to 0, or, mind you, we're saying what? Or your second bracket, which is what? X plus 2, can be equivalent to 0. You're literally saying here your x plus 7 can be equal to 0, or your x plus 2 can be equivalent to 0, such that the product of these two brackets will give you 0. So if you solve this, then it becomes x can be, let me write nicely. Let me write my x nicely. X can be, I can't write my x nicely. Okay, okay, I think I'm focusing on petty stuff. Let me zoom in. Maybe I'll be able to write it nicely. Okay, cool. So it'll be your x equivalent to minus 7, or your x equivalent to minus 2. So this is your solution for the problem at hand. Thank you so much. We'll tailor to the next section based on the response we're getting from this section. But it's simple as that. Any question that you get pertaining solving for x, when you have to open bracket, first thing, you literally see, are they saying, should I round off to 2 decimal places? No, they are not. That means I can look for factors. Is my last term positive? Yes. No. If it's positive, that means the signs are the same. What's the sign of the middle term? It's positive or negative. If it's positive, that means they both have the positive sign. If it's negative, they both have the negative sign. Is my last term positive or negative? No, it's negative. That means my factors, what? They have signs that are not the same. So they have different signs. Is the middle term positive? Yes. So that means the bigger factor takes the sign of the middle term. You know what I'm saying? If my middle term is negative, that means the bigger factor takes the sign of the middle term, which will be negative in that instance. So yeah, that's just it. Thank you.